With all these big name players attached and rumored to be signing with the other clubs in world football, who were some players rumored originally to be coming to the Canadian Premier League in 2019? Well, that's the question I posed in today's episode. We're going to talk about it, but first, welcome to my channel, A.F.C. Curtis. I'm Curtis, and if you like Canadian Premier League content, this is the channel for you, so make sure you hit that red subscribe button. Now, a quick side note, these are all players that were rumored to be coming to the Canadian Premier League, and just stuff and rumors that you heard on social media as well as on the internet, on a bunch of different websites. So these players, nothing's been for sure concrete, nothing's been confirmed that these players did actually talk to these clubs or did end up almost signing with these clubs or even met with these clubs ever exactly. These are all just rumors. And a big shout out to @CPL Transfers. Those guys are great over there. Check out that Twitter account. I'll have it linked, and Instagram account down. I'll have those tags down in the description below here. Great social media platform to check out because they got all this latest in CPL signings as well as CPL rumors, and that's a big part. Their account was huge in terms of my research for this episode and a good starting point, so definitely check them out. Now let's get started with our top 5 rumored CPL transfers. Zach Drake to Forge FC / York 9. Now this first one here is Mr. Zach Drake, and he is a pretty popular guy on the social media and all over the terms of rumors coming to the CPL. A lot of people wanted to see him in the CPL. I for sure wanted to see him in the CPL. I thought he was coming in the CPL back when I interviewed him back in November of last year. I thought it was a shoe-in to get in. He was long rumored for months through the winter and spring to be signing with either Forge FC or York 9 FC, but I'm assuming, obviously, unfortunately, things didn't work out. They didn't get a signature at least this past spring. Maybe this coming spring coming up, he plays in 2020 in the CPL. It would be fantastic to have him in the league. I think he's a good player, a good talent. He's played in Australia, Germany, Portugal, the US with the USL, and you name it. So I mean, this guy is a talent. He's playing currently in League One Ontario, but I do see him and predict that he will end up in the Canadian Premier League at some point. Kind of surprised he didn't come in 2019, and that's why he's here in this rumored section. Mo Babalui to Forge FC. Now I'm shocked here that Mo didn't end up in the Canadian Premier League in 2019. I really am. Just like Zach Drake, he was one of those popular names that were kind of hovering around the rumor mill throughout the winter months and into the spring season. And he was playing this past 18-19 season in the Arena League there with the Mississauga Metro Stars. So he's in Ontario. He does count as a Canadian, and he's a 26-year-old striker who can score goals. I mean, he played the 17-18 season in the Syrian Premier League, and the reason why he was probably ultimately linked to Forge FC, besides being a good talented forward, is he also has experience playing in the and as an alumni of Sigma FC under Bobby Smirtiotis. So of course, if you're from Sigma FC, you're probably going to go to Forge at one point, let's be honest here. And I think Mo here is a good example of a player that deserves to be in the CPL. I think the CPL would do wonders for him in his career, and I think he's going to be fantastic, or could be fantastic, especially now that Emery Welshman is out of the picture for Forge FC. They might have an opening there for him right as a forward there, a big center forward for Forge FC. So who knows, maybe we will see him after all in the 2020 season. CRISTIAN Gutierrez to Valour FC. Valour FC almost did a clean sweep of the Gutierrez twins, almost going 2 for 2. They got half of it though, with Diego Gutierrez coming and signing this past winter. Almost got CRISTIAN before he ended up going and signing down in the Chilean League. But this left back here would have been a great pickup for Valour FC, as well as just the Canadian Premier League in general, to have a good Canadian kid coming up like this. He's born in Quebec there, so he does have Canadian citizenship as well as Chilean citizenship, if only I could speak. But ultimately, I think he would have been a great pickup there for Valour FC, right? Just like I said, any Canadian Premier League club. He's a good young player, left back / left mid, who's coming up. He's got really good potential too, and I mean really good potential in the world football game here, and I think he could turn out to be a big stud and a superstar. So if we could have gotten that, you know, a player like that to come in at the start of his career and kind of launch it off from the Canadian Premier League, it would have looked good in the long term for the CPL. But all in all, as long as CRISTIAN Gutierrez makes it in the big leagues, I'm happy. Junior KINGUE to the Cavalry FC. KINGUE is one of those French talents, prospects I should say, that are kind of coming up in the world football right now. Very underrated player. He's currently playing in the 3rd division of French football with Red Star FC. But back in the fall, in the winter time there, when he was rumored to be coming to the Canadian Premier League into Cavalry FC is where he was actually linked to. The defender was currently playing with Santos FC, which was, of course, the club that brought up Neymar to his world stardom there. So definitely a good player there and a good French player. He's had trials with Man United and Man City in Europe in previous years, as well as even linked to this past winter to teams like Burnley as well as Tottenham Hotspurs. So I mean, a player like that getting all those big club names attached to him and rumored at looking at him and possibly signing him and even bring him on trial. I mean, there's obviously something there with Junior KINGUE here, and it would have been a great defender to have with Cavalry FC, or again, any team in the Canadian Premier League, because a guy like that with all that potential that he can just untapped potential, I should say, right now that he has, that we could just tap into. If he could blow up in a year or two then and get sold for $1 million or so, or even $500,000, that would have been a great little first nudge in the right direction for the Canadian Premier League. Diego Forlan to Valour FC. Now, when I heard this past winter Diego Forlan was coming to the Canadian Premier League, and I've seen everybody, credible or to non-credible people and sources on social media, just blowing up about Forlan to Valour FC or just to the Canadian Premier League, I literally almost lost my mind. Because how cool would it have been to see the greatest Uruguayan footballer of all time right here in Canada for the Canadian Premier League in year one, especially too. It would have been sick to see. He would have been a great footballer. I know he's 40 years old this year, and yes, you know, a lot of people say 40 years old is old, especially in world football terms, but he's still a talent, and he probably would have come in right off the bat and probably would have been the best player in the CPL in year one. But I'm okay with that because it's Diego Forlan, and my God, if we had him in the CPL in 2019, how cool would that have been? It would have been great for the league too, in terms of media and popularity and helping grow the game in Canada right off the bat, and the CPL. More importantly, right off the bat in Canada, it would have immensely helped the league and its identity right off the bat. So I think it would have been fantastic to have Diego Forlan. We didn't get him in 2019. He is still a free agent though at 40 years old. So maybe in 2020 he decides to come out to not retire and instead play another year in 2020. Maybe it's in Canada with a Canadian Premier League club. I really hope to see him though. So guys, that was my video this week. Definitely let me know down in the comment section below who were some rumored signings I might have missed in this video, and how cool would it have been to see Diego Forlan in the CPL. Like 10 out of 10. Not even, it's 1,000 out of 10 for me at least. That's what would have been so cool to see. And of course, if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button, that thumbs up button. And of course, if you want to see more content just like this about the Canadian Premier League on my channel, make sure you hit that red subscribe button and that bell notification so you can get notified each and every week I drop a brand new episode just like this one. And of course, you can also find my content over at northernstarting11.com. I'll have a link for that website down in the description below. This is a great little network. Everything you need for Canadian soccer news and notes and everything, podcasts, vidcasts, articles, all in this one place on this one website. So check it out. Link is down in the description below. And thank you guys so much for watching.